Warning. This program contains frank and mature discussions intended to educate and advocate on the subjects of sexuality, sex, and gender and body positivity. Due to the nature of the topics being discussed, this may include subject matter and language that some may find offensive. This program is intended for adults only. If you are under the age of 18, if such material offends you, or if it is illegal to view such material in your community, please exit now.
Brown chicken, brown cow. 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 This is fun. Brown chicken, brown cow. Brown chicken, brown cow.
Welcome to Brown Chicken, Brown Cow, one of our Nugget episodes. This month we're talking to a lot of organizations out in the world who are giving back, organizations and charities that are making good, doing good, and actually bringing people together. Today, I have with us someone I'm really excited to actually have on the show because many of you know I am polyamorous. And I have Robyn Trask with us, who is one of the members who helps run and develop an organization called Loving More. Hello, Robyn. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm fantastic. Can you introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us about what you do for Loving More and Loving More itself.
Yes, absolutely. I am the executive director of Loving More nonprofit. I took over the organization itself. Our mission is basically to educate people about and support polyamory as a valid choice in loving relationships and family lifestyle. The organization is... Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And now for people who may not know, because I didn't actually introduce it properly, polyamory is becoming more and more popular and more understood in the community, or rather in society. It's based on two different things. Can you tell us what polyamory is and what it maybe means to you?
Essentially, polyamory, I mean, the word itself is loving more, or more than, multiple loves.
Right.
And, poly and amory, so, easy.
Easy.
But as far as the, way people often define it in the community, it's romantic and or committed relationships with more than one person with the consent and knowledge of all involved. And so that's an important piece of it.
Oh, absolutely. And Loving More is making strides to maybe normalize this ideology and put it out there in the community and help people understand it if it is right for them, correct?
Basically one of the things that I took over the organization in 2004. The organization is actually 32 years old.
Oh, wow.
So we've been around a long time, but I took over in 2004, and my goal was to make polyamory a known concept or a household word, if you will. At the time, nobody knew what polyamory was. It wasn't even in the dictionary. And so my goal was to, my belief is that if somebody's going to know something or conceptualize, you have to have a word for it. Words are really important. And so that was kind of, my goal was to get out and get polyamory as a household word by doing things like press releases and getting us attention from the media.
Exactly.
And it started out very slow in about 2005, but if you look at look at the history of it, you'll see that it really built momentum. And started really snowballing in about 2010 to 2012.
Right around there, right around 2008, my wife and I actually opened up our relationships, and we had been talking about it for a long time. Opening up and exploring polyamory. And what was holding us back actually was there wasn't a lot of media about it. There weren't a lot of books. There was Ethical Slut. Now there are quite a few others. And we found some other people out there doing podcasts finally, like Minx from Polyamory Weekly. So reaching out and looking and using the internet to find out if that was out there was a big step for us to take and actually explore if that was something we wanted to do. So tell me more about Loving More. What is it that you're doing, and who are you helping?
Okay, so we actually live kind of to serve the polyamory community.
Okay.
And the best way I felt that we could do that, again, is by becoming more accepted. Mm-hmm. So my first mission was just to get the concept known, mm-hmm. and now I've kind of switched gears into acceptance of polyamory. That's kind of our goal now.
Right.
Some of the things that we've done to move forward towards that is working with media, whether it's getting people cast on a show like Montel Williams or the Lisa Ling show, mm-hmm. the things that we've helped with. We've also done things like we do education and conferences. We have webinars. We have national conferences where we teach people how to have successful polyamorous relationships. What are the skills you need? So that's really a big part of what we do. And then the other piece that we do is just supporting through things like we do research. We assist with research sometimes, assisting with what kinds of questions do you need to ask a polyamorous person, because sometimes these researchers don't quite know how to word things or how to ask the questions.
Exactly.
And we've also sponsored surveys ourselves, like our 2012 survey, which included over 4,000 self-identified polyamorous people. And that was actually, it's on our website, the results of it, which is really an amazing research project that was done.
Well, since you mentioned
the website.
website.
So those are the kind of things that we work on. So.
Oh, fantastic. Since you mentioned the website, can you give that for our listeners so they can screen over and
our
take a look?
website's basically as simple. It's lovemore.com.
Awesome. So you've done studies. You've helped you've given speeches, all these different things that help people understand and give exposure and acceptance to polyamory. Where do you see Loving More going in the future?
At the moment, most of what our goal is just to build more of. I hate to use the term normalizing, but
yeah,
I don't like that term too much. But
you're not the only one that has pushed back on that. But yeah,
yeah, to gain acceptance that families, no matter what their form, that families can come in so many different forms, and polyamory happens to be one that can be a healthy family or an unhealthy family, just like any family.
Just like any family, yeah.
But it's as healthy as the people in it. The other thing that's really important to me is people knowing there is a choice. So I see my kind of vision of the future of relationships is that when somebody goes on a date, they actually talk about these issues.
Right.
An example, you sit down with somebody and you're on a first date and they ask you, do you lean more polyamorous or more open, or are you looking for monogamy? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times I have people, I've had people kind of accuse us of pushing just polyamory as being better, and I don't think that at all. But I do think it's better to sit down with somebody. I mean, if I was monogamous, I would love to sit down with somebody who had explored other things and knew they wanted monogamy.
Right.
The same way I'd like when I date, I want people to have explored polyamory and know that's what they want.
Exactly. I mean, for so many years, for so long, because the fact we didn't have an understanding that we could branch out and build relationships the way we want to see it. And we've always heard in music and movies and media and even stories of our parents, for the most part, who didn't explore alternate relationship options, that the parity, the one-to-one, that you can only have two people in a relationship, that's all you knew. And so I know personally when I was growing up, I grew up in a very progressive environment, and I understood that I could actually enjoy other relationships. And once my wife and I came to that level of, there's more to life, and there's more things that we want to do, and I think there's space in our hearts and our love and everything that we express is actually at a different level. So your organization and other organizations like yours can help people find that for themselves, and I really appreciate that. So what else do we want? What else should we talk about? Let's see here. Because polyamory, like I said, is a beautiful expression of love, and I've always found that the more you love, the more you want to share your life and with more people. And you don't have to go across the board, do you? No. For example, what I mean by go across the board is like collect all the different types of people.
Right. I think that's sometimes there's a misnomer in polyamory that people are bored in their relationship, or they're just seeking sexual gratification, and that's really not the case for most people that I know. And I feel like I'm an example of someone who came into polyamory. I didn't have the internet. I didn't have all the information that people have now, which is one of the reasons I'm passionate about it.
Right.
At the time, I simply was in love with more than one person and thought that was wrong. Everything that I'd been told was that you couldn't love more than one person. It wasn't okay. It wasn't right. Whatever. And so my expansion really is just the fact that I always want to be open to somebody that might come along, or if, I meet somebody and I just go, wow, that's an interesting person, I want the option to explore it. It doesn't mean that I'm daily out there seeking to date new people.
Exactly.
I mean, for example, right now I have 3 partners, and the shortest one has been 12 years, so
wow.
We've been together 12 years.
Yeah, and that's a little bubble that you can pop for a lot of people that says, long-term polyamory relationships do exist. Anyway, Robyn, thank you for joining us today. We're going to have you on in a couple months when we are talking all about polyamory, and we can dig even deeper into your history, into the history, because it sounds like there's a lot of history with Loving More, and I really want to get into that. So we'll bring you back. Let's get if people want to help your organization one more time, learn more about you, help your organization donate because you are a 501c3. People can make that happen. Give us your information one more time.
It's lovemore.com is our web address, and you can also find us on Facebook if you search Polyamory-Loving More.
Fantastic. Robyn, been great talking to you, and this has been the Brown Chicken, Brown Cow Nugget Show. Remember to go do all the things. Look us up on Facebook, on YouTube, on all of the podcasts. Subscribe. It helps our numbers. We love you. Be good to each other. We'll see you next time.
Hi guys, this is Sean Monkey McEnany, Monkey for short. What you need to know now is that Brown Chicken, Brown Cow needs your love. It needs your help, and personally, we could use your money. But short of that, what you need to do is go out and like our Facebook page. Number 2, give us a review on whatever podcast ability you have. Go out to iTunes, go out to Google Play, give us a good review because that helps. Number 3, subscribe. Subscribe to our podcast because that helps our numbers, helps us with advertisers, helps us with everything. It makes us look good, actually. And number 4, and this is very important, come close to the speaker. It's fantastic. You can go out to Patreon and support us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/BCBC podcast. You can support us at whatever level of support you think you can manage. I don't want you to give us money if you can't do it, but I want you to give us some money and we'll give you back some love as well. We'll give you back some stuff. We'll talk about you on the radio. Who knows? But in the end, supporting us helps keep the show going. Subscribing to the podcast gives us better numbers. And liking our Facebook page, guess what? You always know when the show's coming. So, this is Monkey. You're you. We are together. Cuckoo-cuckoo. Fantastic. See you on the next show.
For information on becoming a sponsor, advertising with us, or becoming a guest on our show, visit us at brownchickenbrowncowshow.com. All information in this show is copyright 2018 by the Brown Chicken Brown Cow Show and Podcast and Mariu Creative Solutions. All rights are reserved.
Brown chicken, brown cow. 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 This is fun. Brown chicken, brown cow. Brown chicken, brown cow.